Oh, hi God. How I barely knew ye. I literally check Blue Sky once, and then this is the news I see. Crazy. I'm not surprised. It's just kind of obvious. HighGuard is permanently shutting down on March 12th. Whoa, crazy. Let's read the story. Today we're sharing difficult news. We have made the decision to permanently shut down HighGuard on March 12th. Since launch, more than 2 million players stepped into HighGuard's world. Well, only the launch. You shared feedback, created content, and many believed in what we were building. For that, we are deeply grateful. Despite the passion and hard work of our team, we have not been able to build a substantial player base to support the game long term. Servers will remain online until March 12th. We hope you'll jump in with us one more time to show your support and get those final great matches in while you still can. The team is excited to release one final game update to enjoy in the remaining life of the game. We'll be adding a new warden, a new weapon, account level progression, and skill trees. Full patch notes are coming, and we're targeting tonight or tomorrow morning for patch release. For all of us at Wildlight, thank you for playing, for supporting us, and for being part of HighGuard's story. Alright. Um, let's just quickly talk about this because it is sad news for the people who are working on it. But then again, if you were working on this game and you looked at it objectively and you just look at it from the perspective of 2026, it was going to fail regardless of what this team was going to do. This game, it could have been shadow dropped like they originally wanted, but then what? The same problem would have occurred. It would have launched, had high retention for like maybe a few days, and then it quickly would have just dropped down slowly and slowly and slowly. And eventually you will still have this bullshit of, hey, we're gonna cancel the game. Live service games aren't are guaranteed for success these days. And HighGuard was one of those games where I don't know what the team was thinking. They for some reason wanted to shadow drop it on the day of release, but Jeff Keighley decided to like showcase it on the Game Awards, and it was a bad choice for him to show it off at the Game Awards. It should have been the second to last game, or he should have more explicitly said, "Hey, this is a free game. We want you to show off because we really like. I really believe in the team." But he didn't, and so people really hated it at first, and then people didn't get the message that it was free to play. I mean, it was free for a very long time, and then when the news did drop, it was a bit too late. So a lot of people didn't even hear about that until way later, where now the game is suffering from like player retention. But even going back to player retention, usually it was 3v3s, there was no feedback, there was no nothing. I don't understand. This game needed support and needed thoughts on it ahead of time, not during when the game came out. And then 2 weeks ago, during the launch of this game, 2 weeks after the launch, Tencent was like the one funding this project. And then they were like, yo, this game has shit like retention. Let's just cancel we're not giving you any more funding. And then from that point on, the game was basically at a dead stall, at a dead stop. I don't know what they were thinking. At that moment, the moment Tencent was like, no more funding, they more or less died. Um, it's crazy that they think that this game was going to do well. Live service games just aren't it anymore, man. They are not guaranteed money makers like they were back in 2016. If you made HighGuard in 2016, you could have maybe had a good few years. But this was the team that did Apex, so they thought, hey, we can do this again, and it just is not what it was, man. How did they hear the words, let's make HighGuard, and then also hear the words, let's not do Titanfall? That shit is crazy to me. You could have easily had a success, like a spiritual successor to Titanfall 3 or Titanfall 2, and they were like, no, let's do another live service slop game and let's put it out there. All of which is confusing and messy, and I just didn't understand what this was. And also, they put like a lot of their money and budget into like live action not live action cutscenes, but really high quality cutscenes. Like there was an episode one for the warden, and I don't know whose decision that was. It was really stupid because who's going to go? Oh yeah, hi guys, that's the next big thing. We gotta watch the warden gameplay. Like guys, maybe do that after the game is being successful. Maybe use that budget for like I don't know, uh, parts of your game. The CGI cutscenes are just not it anymore, Chief. What are we doing? Our It's so silly. It's so silly. There was a new warden, a new update. There's like what years of work they were working on this, and it's dead. Crazy, genuinely crazy to me. Um, yeah, I mean, people are gonna say this is like a Concord like. Nothing will ever be like a Concord like anymore because Concord died within 2 weeks. This game at least had a month. Um, but it's live service games are shown to be non profitable now with 2xKO, HighGuard. What's next? I believe there's more stuff out there that's being cancelled that we don't even know about. Um, I think I think this team will come back and be like, let's make an extraction shooter, guys. It's like, oh no, lads, what are you doing? Because this feels like what they would do. They would decide to make an extraction shooter, and then they will be in the same position of, oh no, extraction shooters aren't no good because games take 7 years to make. So by the time they do come out, the hype and everything is gone. So it's just stupid. They're not new to this industry. And then I saw I saw a really good comment somewhere. Was it here? I don't remember. Let me try to find it. All right, I couldn't find it, but the gist of the comment was like this company had positive toxicity. They kept telling each other, "Yo, it doesn't matter how many players we have. It doesn't matter. We're going to do well as long as 10 people are playing it. It's good." Do you really believe that? Of course you don't. You need more than 10 players for a live service game. You need whales. You're not gonna find the whales from 10 people. Um, it's yeah, and then it's like, what was the long term plan? In my opinion, what was the long term plan? Let's say this game even had a bit of retention, or it did come out as they wanted, and then what would happen? I don't know. Um, let's just look at comments otherwise, because I'm just gonna be regurgitating. I hope I can find some other stuff to talk about. Blah blah blah. Nope, that's not it. Where did it? There we go. Let's look at this. It was this. I wasn't this comment. I don't know why I'm saying this that comment. I don't have it. I don't know where it went. Um, 10 simple funding. What was their original plans? Let me just do this so I can get some light. So on the internet pointing out they had managers and employees for years. The ULC well established AA, like a manager for influencer operations. It was a total lot of bloat and mismanagement. It was. It was a live service fumble. Like people just do not care about this game, man. I saw this game and was like, this is garbage. It is not interesting. It is not fun. It is not. It is not. There's nothing. There's no hook. Why didn't they just do a Titanfall free? Is crazy to me. All right, like a spiritual successor. Uh, yeah, man, it's so forgettable. This game is going to die, and we're all gonna forget about it and go, "What was HighGuard?" Because for the life of me, I can't remember what HighGuard was until people started even talking about it, and then I had to go back and look into it. And now it's definitely one of those like, uh, Concord HighGuard tag team duos of flops. Like, what do we? It's just insane. It's just insane. For like, what was the thought process of like we are going to retain player retention when games like Overwatch made come? I mean, I guess they didn't really expect Overwatch to make a comeback, but then you got Deadlock because they didn't expect Deadlock, but then they didn't expect Marvel Rivals, and they didn't expect Arc Raiders. Marathon is coming out soon. It's not great, but it's coming out soon and probably gonna do better because it's Bungie and they have like at least like some reputation. Um, but like it's but my point being is like games like Apex and Fortnite and PUBG. Well, I don't know about PUBG anymore, but all of them have found their niche, and those players, regardless of how much they complain, they're not really going to leave because they spent years playing that game. They spent years buying stuff from that game, investing into that game. Why would you ever invest into a game like this that was bland, boring, and had nothing to make a hook? You have one chance to make a hook, and they failed tremendously. It wouldn't have mattered how this game would have launched. All that would have mattered is at the end of the day, it would have shut down because nothing about it is interesting. All right, I'll leave it there. Oh wow, Dune Awakening lost 90% of his launch player base. 200k in like 2 months. That's crazy. Prior to the last update, which boosted numbers a bit, Dune had 4.5 as launch peak with 9,000 players online. Funcom is still hosting 12,000 public servers, literally more servers than players. Can't play Dune in offline single player, and God help them, they are trying to get people back of always worth. They did the same thing with Conan Exiles, and it's effectively a staple of the genre now. That's wild. I mean, that's more than HighGuards, which is 460. I'm just gonna take this person's word on it, but that's wild. Still, it's like if Dune Awakening was just a single player game where you could like, there's a story for Dune, and you weren't even like, if you weren't even Paul Atreides and you were somebody else in the Dune universe, because that universe is so vast and so great and so interesting and rich with history, you could have had so many different characters with what you could have done with that. But instead, Dune Awakening decided to do the whole like, you're Paul but you're not Paul, and then you're from a different timeline that did something else happen and whatever, right? I'm ranting, but the point is, like, Dune Awakening could be more interesting and have more players if it wasn't just a MMO. But regardless, HighGuard falls into the same situation of how are you? What were you going to do to compete? There's nothing you could have done. There's nothing you could have done. It would have died. It would have died regardless. All right, take care and see ya.